Hello, and welcome to my channel, where tonight I take you on a serene journey through the Wellspring series, a collection of 4 mixed media works that flow from the quiet depths of memory, nature, and the soul. I'm Robert Girandola, painter and sculptor, working in oil, acrylic, mixed media, and bronze, as well as author of Over Dinner and Other Strange Enchantments, a 30-year journey through dreams, lucid dreams, and out-of-body experiences, many of which have been source material for my artwork. I invite you to unwind, to let these pieces Infinity, Wheatfield Bound, 100 Oxen Sacred Spring, and My Father's Field wash over you like a gentle breeze, guiding you toward restful contemplation. Settle in, close your eyes if you wish, and let the textures and stories of these artworks carry you into a peaceful space, perfect for drifting off or simply reflecting. We begin with Infinity, an abstract portrait born from dreams, where emotion dances in soft, muted hues. Each meticulously placed dot, each burst of vibrant color, whispers untold stories of the soul. The interplay of light and shadow invites you to linger, to feel the quiet mystery of a gaze that holds your own dreams. Infinity is a 12 by 12 inch acrylic on canvas, completed in 2010. At first glance, it's an intimate abstract portrait, focusing on the lower half of a face with lips rendered in a striking red. The surface shimmers with a luminous, almost ethereal quality thanks to the use of reflex pigments and a special medium that allows me to build up transparent glazes reminiscent of traditional oil painting techniques. This glazing process was central to the piece. I layered washes of blues and violets, letting each one dry before adding the next, creating a sense of depth and atmosphere that feels both suspended and timeless. The stippled application of paint, tiny deliberate marks, invites the viewer to come closer, to lose themselves in the texture and the play of light across the surface. The technique draws inspiration from pointillism, particularly the work of Georges Seurat, but with a contemporary twist. There's also a psychological intensity here that echoes Francis Bacon, and a meticulous attention to surface that brings to mind Chuck Close. Yet the intention was never to mimic, but to explore. How can the smallest gestures, dots, glazes, subtle shifts in color, convey the vastness of inner experience? Infinity is part of my ongoing collection, The Wellspring, which is all about capturing the flow of resonant ideas from the subconscious mind. This piece in particular explores themes of identity, possibility, and the infinite within the self. By focusing on just a fragment of the face, I wanted to evoke a sense of mystery and openness. A portrait not of a specific person, but of the boundless potential that exists in all of us. The lips, highlighted in red, become a focal point, a symbol of communication, vulnerability, and the unspoken. The surrounding blues and violets suggest introspection, while the luminous surface hints at something just beyond reach, a sense of the infinite. Always present, but never fully grasped. Technically, infinity stands at the intersection of several traditions. The glazing technique harks back to the old masters, while the stippling nods to the innovations of late 19th century pointillists. The psychological depth and the abstraction reflect the influence of modern and contemporary artists who have used the portrait as a site of exploration and transformation. But above all, this piece is a personal meditation, a way of asking what lies beneath the surface. How do we glimpse the infinite in the everyday? Thank you for joining me in this exploration of infinity. If you'd like to experience this piece in person or bring its energy into your own space, you can find it at girandola.com. Next we meet Wheatfield Bound, a 3 by 6 foot canvas born from my New Jersey sod farm childhood. Golden wheat stalks rise against a radiant cerulean sky, entwined with barbed wire, a poignant dance of freedom and constraint, sustenance and sacrifice. Let its vibrant blues and rough textures ground you, evoking fields under open skies. Growing up on a farm, I was shaped by the boundless imagery of fields, golden wheat swaying under endless skies, stretching towards horizons that felt infinite. Those fields, alive with possibility, have woven themselves into my art, grounding my concepts in the rhythms of the earth. My work is concept-driven, often born from thought experiments or personal narratives, blending technical mastery with wonder and introspection. I've explored countless subjects and styles, always asking, what stories do we carry within us? And how do they shape our perception of the world? Today, I invite you to join me in exploring an evocative piece I've titled Wheatfield Bound, the second installment in my series. With just two simple elements, wheat and barbed wire, it weaves a tapestry of profound meaning that I hope will stir your soul. In the vibrant realm of abstract art, where perception is transformed, Wheatfield Bound is my heartfelt exploration of nature's essence and the sacred stories that emerge from my subconscious. This 3 by 6 foot mixed media panel is deliberately simple. Dried wheat stalks and sharp barbed wire bound in glossy epoxy resin against a radiant cerulean field. Yet within this simplicity lies a depth that speaks to resilience, sacrifice, and redemption. Meanings I discovered long after its creation. Growing up surrounded by fields, I was drawn to wheat's golden sway, a symbol of life's boundless cycles that I carried from my childhood farm to this canvas. I created this piece to feel alive, to pull you into its layers, and invite you to touch the stories woven within. Stories rooted in the earth and the infinite. Let me start with the foundation, the radiant cerulean background that envelops the composition. To me, this vibrant blue is a portal to the boundless skies of my youth, like the clear New Jersey heavens over the majestic sod farm I grew up on, bursting with life and possibilities. It's a color that uplifts, drawing you into a meditative state, echoing the limitless dreams of my first Wellspring piece, Infinity. Rising from this cerulean expanse are golden wheat stalks, simple, proud, resilient. I collected and placed each stalk by hand, their rough texture recalling the fields I roamed as a child, where seasons of growth, maturation, and harvest unfolded under the open skies. With just wheat and wire, I sought to create something elemental, a canvas where the simplicity of my rural roots amplifies profound meaning. Now, follow the black barbed wire I've woven through the wheat. This is no mere decoration. It's the heartbeat of the piece, a stark symbol that carries unexpected weight. When I created Wheatfield Bound, I didn't consciously choose the wire for its deeper meaning. It was only later, through my father's insight, that I saw it as a modern echo of the crown of thorns, a poignant reference to Christ's suffering and sacrifice in the Passion narrative. Its sharp points embody the burdens we bear: pain, struggle, the weight of our choices. The wheat, too, took on new meaning in reflection for my deeply religious father. He thought of it as a nod to the body of Christ, evoking the Eucharistic bread that sustains, redeems, and reveals the divine in the everyday. Together, these two simple elements, born from my subconscious, create a powerful duality: the freedom of boundless fields versus the constraints of the wire, the abundance of the harvest versus the pain of entanglement. It's my reflection on life's invisible threads: circumstance, choice, faith, and the transcendence we find within them, a truth I discovered long after the epoxy dried. As I crafted Wheatfield Bound, I drew inspiration from mixed media masters who use simple materials to explore profound truths. I think of Anselm Kiefer, whose monumental works weave straw, ash, and barbed wire into meditations on history and redemption. His straw, like my wheat, echoes the fields of my childhood, symbolizing life's fragility, while his wire mirrors my own, evoking sacrifice and renewal with Christian echoes. In Wheatfield Bound, my epoxy resin seals these elements in a glossy eternity, much like Kiefer's lead transforms the mundane into the transcendent, inviting you to find the sacred in the simple. I'm also inspired by George Rouault, the French expressionist whose faith-infused works use bold paints and textured layers to depict suffering and hope. His stained glass-like compositions, radiant with symbols from the Mass, resonate in my barbed wire thorns and wheat, capturing the tension between pain and grace that my father helped me see. Like Rouault, I want Wheatfield Bound to stir a theological reflection woven from the simplicity of two elements. One can also look at the works of William Blake, whose visionary etchings and prints, early mixed media, burst with biblical symbolism. Blake's art, simple yet profound, explores spiritual tyranny and deliverance, much like my Wheatfield's cycles of innocence and experience, or the wire's chains of oppression. In Wheatfield Bound, I hope to echo the call to divine imagination through the stark beauty of wheat and wire, rooted in the boundless fields of my youth. When you stand before Wheatfield Bound, I invite you to immerse yourself in its simplicity and depth. Feel the wheat's roughness against the epoxy's smoothness. Trace the wire's path. Let the cerulean field wash over you with its vibrant clarity. This piece isn't just art, it's my dialogue with you, a bridge between the fields of my childhood and the sacred truths my father helped me uncover. It asks you to reflect on your journey, bound by thorns of trial, nourished by the bread of resilience, reaching for the boundless cerulean of possibility. Its simple form, wheat and wire, carries a richness born from my subconscious, a gift I didn't fully understand until reflection revealed its depth. In a chaotic world, Wheatfield Bound is my sanctuary, a place to pause and breathe. It's my reminder of beauty in simplicity, strength in vulnerability, and the sacred narratives woven into life, inspired by the endless fields I grew up in. With just wheat and wire, I've tried to capture the stories we carry, the faith that sustains us, the dreams that push us forward. This is Wheatfield Bound, my second creation in the Wellspring series. It's a journey, a reflection, a spark of my superconscious mind. We now turn to the third piece in the Wellspring series. 100 Oxen, Sacred Spring, bursts forth a vibrant celebration of abundance and myth. Swirling oils and inks evoke a sacred spring with oxen, symbols of strength and provision, flowing in dynamic textures. Its energy hums softly like a distant river, inviting you to feel life's boundless flow as you relax into its rhythm. Hello, I'm Robert Girandola, a painter and sculptor working in oil, acrylic, mixed media, and bronze. For over 30 years, my creative journey has been guided by dreams, the superconscious mind, and those quiet moments that spark new ideas. Welcome to the Wellspring, my 4-part series where we dive deep into the heart of some of my works, uncovering the stories, emotions, and histories that breathe life into each piece. If you've joined me for the first 2 episodes, you know we explore not just paint on canvas, but the threads tying art to human experience. Today, in our 3rd installment, we're tackling my most profound work yet, 100 Oxen, Sacred Spring. This painting is a portal into trauma, resilience, ancient mythology, and the raw power of the human mind. Buckle up. This is our longest, most immersive episode yet, diving into style, process, its place in American art history, and the psychological symbolism, linking it to September 11th, 2001. Let's set the stage with the painting. 100 Oxen Sacred Spring is a large-scale oil on 5 cradled birch panels, measuring 34 inches by 70 inches overall. A stampeding herd of cattle fills the frame from edge to edge, thrusting you into their midst. Hooves pounding, bodies surging in a chaotic yet harmonious flow. The colors are visceral, deep browns and grays for hides, stark whites for highlights catching imagined light, and subtle blues evoking an ethereal, watery depth. It's abstract expressionism with a narrative edge. The cattle aren't static, they're in motion, symbolizing far more than rural life. The original title, Slaughter Run, was a nod to its intense inspiration. Through a thoughtful retitling process, it became 100 Oxen, Sacred Spring. I wanted to capture the full meaning, the transformation, shielding, and finding sacred meaning in chaos. 100 Oxen references the ancient Greek hecatomb, a sacrificial offering of 100 cattle, while Sacred Spring draws from Homer's Iliad, evoking a wellspring of life amid turmoil. We'll explore that connection soon. To understand this work, we must go to its genesis, a firefighter's story from 9/11. Picture Ground Zero, the World Trade Center towers struck. Chaos and fear abound. Firefighters, drawing on every ounce of training, are saving lives. One firefighter, exhausted from climbing flights of stairs, faces a scene beyond comprehension. An elevator door opens and the tragic sight of innocent office workers caught in the inferno spills out. In that moment, his mind transforms the fallen into a herd of cows. Not literally, but as a psychological shield against overwhelming horror. This dissociation, a survival tool, deeply moved me. It's not uncommon. Studies show up to 30% of 9/11 first responders developed PTSD. From my personal interaction with them, I know far more have compartmentalized the events that happened that day. For this firefighter, cows, symbols of innocence, abundance, and sacrifice, became a buffer. This psychology is the painting's core. Dissociation lets the brain process trauma by distorting reality, like an abstract expressionist stroke revealing deeper truths. The herd in my painting is a metaphor for collective loss and resilience. Their rush isn't just chaos. It's a sacred spring of souls flowing from tragedy, transformed into something bearable, even beautiful. This mirrors how humans use symbols, cows in biblical sacrifices, American frontier myths, to grapple with mortality. Now, let's bridge this modern trauma to ancient roots. The titles 100 Oxen and Sacred Spring come from Homer's Iliad, Book 6, where Trojans, desperate to save their city, offer a hecatomb to Athena. Alexander Pope's translation reads, "A noble hecatomb to Pallas bring, 100 oxen from the sacred spring." The sacred spring is a source of purity. The oxen drawn for ritual slaughter are a plea for mercy amid war's chaos. This resonates with 9/11, seen by many as a modern sacrifice, a collective loss reshaping America. My painting reimagines this hecatomb, the cattle rush from an implied spring, like souls from the tower's elevators, a tragic yet sacred flow. It connects the firefighter's psychological shield to timeless myths, showing how animal proxies process grief across cultures. Let's talk process. How this painting came to life. While working on a bronze memorial for 4 firefighters from Engine 6 in New York City, I immersed myself in their stories, like a method actor diving into a character's pain. This firefighter's whispered account, even 20 years later, brings tears to my eyes. To capture his dissociative vision, I blocked out self and technique, channeling a man shielding his humanity from horror. The painting spilled out in hours across 5 cradled birch panels crafted by Lucius Hudson in California. The torsion box construction ensures lightweight strength and a pristine gesso surface. I had Lucius prime directly on the panels, a methodology I've come to appreciate for the control over texture and paint that it provides. Using high pigment oils almost straight from the tube, I used barely any medium. The surface was dry to the touch within days. The color palette is very muted and limited. Browns, grays, whites, blue glimmers for the spring. Charcoal, my favorite medium, dashes violently. My application is so violent at times, I would break the charcoal across the panels, creating jarring marks that halt the eye amid the flow. This intuitive, therapeutic process let forms emerge, mirroring the mind's abstraction and trauma. After weeks of reflection, Slaughter Run became 100 Oxen, Sacred Spring, honoring the story's depth and humanity's resilience through Homeric resonance. Where does this fit in American art history? Abstract Expressionism, born post-World War II, was America's first global art movement. Pollock and de Kooning channeled wartime trauma into chaotic abstractions, a visual language for the unspeakable. Cy Twombly's manic, Homeric-inspired works or Picasso's Guernica echo war's horrors. Post 9/11, American art revisited these themes: memory, loss, resilience. The 9/11 memorials reflecting pools like Sacred Springs or indigenous veterans' art post-Iraq, Afghanistan used symbolism to process trauma. 100 Oxen, Sacred Spring joins this lineage, a post-9/11 abstraction using animal symbolism to explore dissociation, contributing to dialogues on national identity after tragedy, from World War II's dread to 9/11's grief. This painting hints at a series, Altar of the 100, Flow of the Fallen. It's a wellspring of ideas connecting ancient sacrifice to modern resilience. 100 Oxen, Sacred Spring is more than cows. It's a meditation on shielding pain, drawing from ancient stories, and finding beauty in the broken. Thank you for joining this deep dive, our longest yet. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Finally, we turn to My Father's Field. The series' closing chapter offers a meditative pause. Wheat stalks, acrylic, and charcoal blend on a 4x5 canvas, rooted in the earthy tones of my rural past. Its muted blues and textured lines cradle you, whispering stories of resilience and memory, a gentle embrace for your dreams. Welcome back to the fourth installment of the Wellspring series. I'm Robert Girandola, painter and sculptor, working in oil, acrylic, mixed media, and bronze. For over 30 years, my creative journey has been guided by dreams, the superconscious mind, and the quiet moments that spark new ideas. Today, we delve into My Father's Field, a mixed media canvas that pulses with the rhythms of the earth and the whispers of memory. This piece, measuring 4x5 feet, marries acrylic paints, charcoal sketches, and real stalks of wheat embedded directly into the surface, creating a textured landscape that bridges the tangible world of my New Jersey farm childhood with the abstract realms of emotion and spirit. If you're new to the series, The Wellspring is my ongoing exploration of the subconscious sources that feed our creativity, drawing from dreams, faith, nature, and personal history. You can explore the full collection, including limited edition prints, at robertgirandola.com, and catch up on previous installments on my YouTube channel. Let's begin by grounding ourselves in the peace. My father's field unfolds like a quiet symphony of earthy tones, deep umbers and siennas for the soil, layered with subtle grays and charcoals that suggest furrows plowed by time. The wheat stalks, harvested from real fields and integrated into the acrylic medium, rise vertically, their golden hues catching the light like sentinels. Above an expanse of muted blues hints at the sky, not as a literal horizon, but as in an emotional canopy, evoking that sense of boundless possibility I felt roaming the sod farms of my childhood. The charcoal adds a raw, sketch-like quality, as if the field is still emerging from my subconscious, half-formed and alive with potential. But to truly appreciate my father's field, we must see it as a continuation of the narrative thread woven through the Wellspring series. Think back to the first installment, Wheatfield Bound, that 3x6 foot mixed media masterpiece where dried wheat stalks intertwined with barbed wire, all encased in glossy epoxy against a radiant cerulean backdrop. In Wheatfield Bound, the wheat symbolized sustenance and redemption, echoing the Eucharistic spirit, while the barbed wire evoked the crown of thorns, representing suffering and constraint. It was a meditation on duality, freedom versus entanglement, abundance versus pain, all rooted in my rural upbringing. Now, in my father's field, the wheat returns, but liberated, free from the wire's grip, standing tall in more open, contemplative space. Here, the stalks aren't bound, they're reaching, symbolizing resilience and renewal. It's as if the burdens of Wheatfield Bound have been released, allowing the field to breathe and expand. This evolution reflects my own journey, from confronting personal trials to embracing the healing power of memory. Moving to the second installment, Infinity, we shift from the fields to the human form, yet the connections deepen. Infinity is an abstract portrait, a delicate interplay of dotted textures and vibrant color bursts against a muted palette, capturing the enigma of the human soul. The subject's gaze holds untold stories, melancholy, hope, dreams, all rendered in soft shadows and poetic abstraction. It invites viewers to project their own narratives, bridging the artist's inner world with the observer's. In my father's field, I see echoes of Infinity's emotional introspection. The vertical wheat lines mimic the subtle contours of a face, while the earthy tones ground the viewer in human experience, much like Infinity's palette evokes inner tranquility. Both pieces explore the infinite within the finite. Infinity through the portrait's endless emotional depths, and my father's field through the timeless cycles of growth in a single field. Together they remind us that nature and the self are intertwined, each a mirror to the other's mysteries. And then there's the third installment, 100 Oxen, Sacred Spring, my most evocative work in the series. An abstract expressionist explosion of form and color that draws from ancient myths and personal reverence. Inspired by tales of abundance and sacred waters, this piece features swirling motifs of oxen, symbols of strength, labor, and fertility, emerging from a spring-like source of vibrant blues and golds. It's a celebration of life's sacred flow, where the 100 oxen represent boundless provision, much like the biblical or mythological herds that signify divine blessing. Tying this to my father's field, both honor the agrarian roots of my childhood. The oxen evoke the farmer's laboring beasts, while the sacred spring parallels the field's nurturing earth. In my father's field, the wheat stalks stand as quiet witness to that same abundance, but in a more subdued, reflective key. Where 100 oxen sacred spring bursts with energetic sacredness, my father's field offers a contemplative pause, allowing viewers to drink from the wellspring of memory. Across the series, from Wheatfield Bound's faith-infused duality to infinity's soulful gaze to 100 oxen mythical vitality, my father's field synthesizes these themes into a harmonious whole. Nature as a sacred, resilient force that shapes our human journey. As I created my father's field, I started with charcoal sketches of the field, layering acrylics to build depth, then embedding the wheat stalks for that visceral touch. It's a process echoed in the series, the intuitive placement in Wheatfield Bound, the dotted meditations of infinity, the bold swirls of 100 oxen. What memories does this evoke for you? Perhaps a childhood landscape or a moment of quiet resilience? In the wellspring, each piece flows into the next. Wheatfield bounds faith, giving way to infinity's endless soul. 100 oxen's sacred abundance, nourishing my father's field. It's a journey through contemporary art, all channeled through my subconscious wellspring. I invite you to immerse deeper. Visit robertgirandola.com for prints of my father's field and the series. And please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you again.